Hello everyone, welcome back to JDCodebase. This is the DSA Foundation series on JDCodebase, and today we are starting something very important in the DSA, that is the hashing. Now, honestly, when I first heard this word hashing, I thought it's something very complex. But when I understand it properly, I realize it is a actually very simple thing. So today we will learn about what is hashing, why it is a big of one, and object versus the map, and frequency counter pattern, and the first non-repeating character. And don't worry, we will go step by step and understand everything from the zero and from the basic. Now, first question is the what is hashing? Hashing is just a smart way to store the data. Normally, if I store numbers in an array, I want to find something, I may need to check every element, right? Searching. So, but hashing does something different. It stores data in the key value format, like a key and a value. For example, name is the JDCodebase and age is 22. So a name is here is the key and JDCodebase is the value here. And hashing use something called a hash function. So this function take a value, take a key and convert into an index number. So that index tells us where to store or find the data. So instead of searching, we'll directly jump to the location. So that is the power of hashing. Now, why is hashing big of n? Means why the time complexity of the hashing is the big of n? So this is the most important question, and big of one means time complexity, constant time, right? And that means no matter how big the data is, time to access it remain almost the same. Why? Because we are not looping any, means we are not looping like on an array or using for loop. We are not searching, we are directly jumping to the memory location using a hash function. Like when we in the previous videos, when we are learning about the array basics, I said one thing, that when we write arr 1 means I am say getting the value of at the one first index from the array, and the time complexity here is the big of one. um, for if the array has the 1000 element or 10 element, it's take only one big of one time complexity when we write this. So same apply in the hashing, because in the key, like here we are saying an obj of name, so it's working the same like the this array. So that is why average case is the big of one in the hashing. But remember, if collision happens, and worst case can be big of one. Now, what is collision here? So collision means two different keys go to the same index. Now imagine two students getting the same roll number in a university, right? That creates confusion, because if we search for same number, we get the two students' name A and B. Similarly, in the hashing, sometimes two keys generate the same index. That is called the collision. And there are two techniques to solve this: chaining and open addressing. For now, you just understand what collision means. That's enough for the beginners level. So don't means there is no need to see about chaining or open addressing. Now let's move to VS Code and see how hashing means how this works. So first make an object, name JD Codebase, and here 1 second is the age is, let's say, 30. So here I create a normal JavaScript object, right? There is nothing special in this, just a normal JavaScript object. Now in the object, how can I access the value? By obj.name or obj by using the index, the square bracket format. So when I run this node hashing, I get JDCodebase. There is no issue with this. So here this object is basically hash table in JavaScript, also a hash table. And when I write this obj of name, JavaScript internally uses hashing to find where name is stored. We are not looping. We means in this we are not use any for loop, any while loop. We are directly accessing it. This is a that is a big open time complexity. Now let's see one thing, map in the JavaScript. So this is a means in the inside this keys can be any data type. Like here in the object, we can, if I want to make it 30 and let's say 25, and here if I write age, I get the value console.log obj of obj.30 or sorry 25. What should be the output? I get the error here, syntax error. But if I try to access by square bracket, does I get? Yes, I get. But inside this means we can use only number or this string value, but we cannot use any data type like any other functions or other things. But in the map in the JavaScript we can use any kind of data, whether it is a number, object, or function, or a string. Anything can be key. So, and it also maintain the insertion order and size property, means this is useful for the large data set. Now let's see a comparison between the object versus the map. They look similar, but writing pattern is different, initializing pattern is different, both are the different. Many beginners says objects and map are the similar, but no. Object is the most common way to use the hashing in the JavaScript, but map is the more advanced version for this. And object keys can be only a string or symbol, but in the map it is of any data type, whether it is number, object, even a function it is. And map maintain the insertion order properly, but in the object it is not guaranteed. And map has built-in size property, and but in the size is manually. And performance wise, map is the best for the larger data set. So in interviews, if data is large or dynamic, prefer the map, not the object. Now let's see here, let's make a map. In the normal object, we use the let obj and first use the curly bracket and write the key and value. But for the map, we have to first initialize post. You can this a variable name and just initialize by map. Now inside this map dot set name JDCodebase, and here not colon, just the comma, and map dot set. You can write here the number as type, and here also you can get the, let's say, number key. Here I set the 1 as the key and number key as the value. Now let's console the map. Also console.log map.get name, console.log map.get by 1, console.log map.size. So these are some basic things. By using the dot set we can insert the value. By using the dot get we get the value. By using the dot size we get the size of the complete map. Let's run this. So here if you see in the map we have two things, name and the one this value, means these are looking like a normal object, but it's not JSON format, but it's not in form. And we get the value here, name map.get name JDCodebase map.get 1 number key, and map.size is the 2. But if you see, when I try to access this 25, I get the add. I have to write here the in the array format, in the square bracket format, then I get the value. That's why the map is much better. So this type of this is not that is not possible in the normal object like here, and this that's why map is more flexible also, if I say. Now let's see some pattern. Some first problem is the frequency counter pattern, and frequency counter pattern, this is mostly used in the problem solving skills. Like if I give you a string A B C C, now how many times A appear here is the 2, how many times B is the 1, C is the 2 time. So one way is to use the nested loops. Take the one this A and compare, find out the inside the nested loop. Just go through the whole loop and get the values, count value. But instead of using the nested loop, we can use the hashing here. We store the character as the key and count as the value. That is the frequency counter. Let's write here. I have a function. Just take a string. Let's make a frequency object for let char of str, a normal JavaScript for of loop. I hope you know about this. This is a basic one. And frequency of char is the frequency of char else 0 plus 1 and return frequency. So here let me explain this. We create an empty object here for the frequency. Now we loop over each character in the string for let char of str and here, and frequency of char means if the char is already exist in this object, means then it is by increased by 1 directly, and if it is not, then start from the 0 plus 1, means this is a for loop. And if the frequency of char is not present in the object, then it says undefined versus 4 versus 0, then it says the 0 value, because undefined is the false value. So here this is a very smart trick to write here. The means it's a very smart trick to write, means reducing the value of using the if else condition. So time complexity here is the big of n, because only one for loop, and see how powerful hashing is this. So let's run this frequency counter. I get A2 B1 C2. So this is how we write the, means we use the hashing here in this. Now next problem is the next pattern is the, and you will get this code in the video description also in this PPT. Next problem is the first non-repeating character. Now non-repeating character is the which character appears only once and comes first. Like I count the frequency of every character here from this string. Now I want to check which characters come only single time. Like here the B is come only single time. So I want to check this. So first of all, let's write here the, till now everything is the similar here, means first we have to count the every frequency of means every character, then start a for loop for let char of this str, and if frequency of char is the 1, then return dash char. Else if there is nothing, then just return null. Now let's run node first non-repeating character. B is the first non-repeating character here. Why? Because only B is the single character in the inside this. So first loop count the frequency of a complete string of this complete. The second loop check first character whose frequency is the 1 by using this if condition. Now why two loops here used? Because first we need to full need the fill the data, then we check that means use that data here. And total time complexity is the big O for this for loop, big O for this loop, and which becomes the big O total. So space complexity is the big O because we are storing data in an object. And you will get the code in the PPT in the video description. And some real use cases are the checking duplicates in an array, means in an data, or finding the anagram, database indexing in the real life, caching. So key takeaways: hashing gives the average record big O1, mostly big O1, but for some special case, special data, then it's become the big O1. And collision handling is important, and we will cover in the upcoming videos. And we will also see object versus map difference. In the next video, we will cover two problems from the LeetCode. Then here we will use the map. And frequency counter is a must-known pattern in the problem solving. And so that is for today's video. Honestly, hashing is one of the most important topics in the DSA. If you master this, half of interview problems becomes easier to you. If you found this video helpful, like it, share it, subscribe to JDCodebase. See you in the next video.